Picture this, a tranquil morning, where the fragrance of blooming flowers and whistling birds fill the air. Welcome to a little-known secret of turning your small front yard into a rustic garden paradise. Join us on a journey to blend nature's elements, harnessing that timeless beauty to greet you every morning. Greetings from Freshums. We're here to bring your dream home and garden to life with fun and practical tips. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends who love design as much as you do. There's something about a small front yard that invites intimacy. A place where neighbors pass with a smile and every plant seems chosen for memory, not scale. Picture a narrow path edged by thyme and dusty lavender, a mismatched pot holding a volunteer geranium, and a sagging gate that promises stories. These tiny rustic cottage ideas celebrate charm over perfection. Soft, worn textures, layered foliage, and touches of pastel painted on an old chair. The slideshow captures those vignettes, morning light on a stone sink, the way creeping vines soften a fence, the comforting rhythm of a small, well-loved space. It's less about dramatic transformation and more about gentle accumulation, each element a memory that grows richer through seasons. If your house whispers cottage, these images will help you answer back with a front yard that feels handcrafted, lived in, and warmly familiar. You don't need a big budget to make a small front yard feel like a rustic retreat. This collection is for the thrifty dreamer who sees possibility in a weathered palette, a thrifted urn, or a handful of nursery bargains. Imagine repurposed crates stacked into a planter, salvaged bricks forming a petite border, and inexpensive perennial plugs filling in year after year. The slideshow tells stories of weekend projects. Paint peeling from a bench, a neighbor's cutting shared on a sunny afternoon, and the quiet pride of a fresh coat of gravel making an old path sing. The charm is in the creativity, how small investments and reused materials become a cohesive, timeless front yard scene. If you love upcycling and slow gardening, these visuals will inspire a makeover that looks richer than its cost. May all our subscribers and those who have liked our content be blessed with health and longevity. rustic front yard doesn't require high-maintenance glamour. It thrives on plants that settle in and keep giving. Think of clumping grasses that whisper in the breeze, hardy sages with silver leaves, and resilient roses trained against a picket fence. The slideshow captures the ease of planting with long-term goals. Plants that self-seed, attract pollinators, and develop character instead of needing constant fuss. Each image feels like a promise of fewer hours with the mower and more mornings with tea on the stoop. The stories behind the photos are about slow rewards. The first bloom after a harsh winter, the way a shrub fills the corner over 3 summers, and the joy of a front yard that requires care but not obsession. For busy gardeners, these visuals are an invitation to beauty that fits a life. Paths do more than lead, they set the tone. In these slides, narrow stones and irregular pavers guide visitors through a small, rustic front garden, as if following an old storybook route. Stones sunk into moss, a ribbon of gravel edged by time, and a curved path that hides a little bench all create a sense of discovery. The narrative is tactile, hands lifting soil to bed a stone, the small satisfaction of stepping from sun to shade, the memory of rain beating on warm rock. Even modest materials, reclaimed flagstones or broken concrete patched with wildflowers, feel intentional and dignified. These images show how simple stonework can create depth and invite a slow, meandering stroll in a compact space, making the garden feel larger than it is. One battered milk can, one rusty wheelbarrow, and suddenly a plain porch becomes a vignette worth pausing for. This slideshow celebrates the soul of reclaimed pieces, containers and decor that carry history and add instant personality. See close-ups of zinc tubs planted with spilling geraniums, a ladder repurposed as a succulent stand, and an old sign leaning against a stone wall. The storytelling is sensory, metal warmed by sun, paint flecked from years of weather, and the small rituals of finding just the right piece at a flea market. These objects anchor a tiny front garden, making it feel curated over time rather than staged. For those who love objects that whisper stories, these visuals are a treasure map. Cottage planting is a language of gentle contrasts. Feathery foxgloves against sturdy box, soft lamb's ear nestling beside bold poppies. The slideshow paints those pairings in a way that feels improvised and intimate, as if each cluster was assembled by someone who gardens with memories and a teacup nearby. You'll see palettes of soft pastels, repeated textures to create rhythm, and drifts of plants that suggest pathways and gather light. The narrative is about rhythm and companionship, how one plant protects another, how scent greets visitors at knee height, and how a small entryway can feel like a warm handshake. These compositions are perfect for front yard entrances that want to be welcoming, timeless, and gently nostalgic. The porch is a stage for first impressions. In these scenes, planters frame doorways, hanging baskets sway, and a pair of potted evergreens anchor seasonal displays. The slideshow captures evenings when porch lights turn on and the garden glows back, summer mornings with basil-scented breezes, and autumn arrangements of pumpkins and dried grasses. Storylines include a porch that becomes an extension of the home, a place to sit with a neighbor, to leave packages beneath a canopy of ivy, to watch sunsets stain the sky. The plants chosen are practical yet poetic, offering fragrance and movement without crowding the threshold. If you want your porch to act like a small, rustic oasis that welcomes daily life, these visuals show how plant choices and placement can work like gentle choreography. Lighting turns the ordinary into something a little magical. This collection portrays tiny front yards after dusk. Fairy lights strung through a low hedge, a single lantern by a step, and uplights that reveal textures in a fence. The images read like evening stories, neighbors strolling by under soft glows, a pathway that feels safe and intimate, and the way warm light reveals the grain of wood and the silver of sage. These ideas favor simple fixtures, solar options, and layered lighting that creates pockets of glow rather than harsh brightness. The narrative celebrates evenings spent outside, and the transformation of a small space into a cozy refuge once the sun sets. Sustainability needn't be austere. It can be tender and rustic. Slides show rain barrels tucked behind a shrub, herb spiral built from salvaged stone, and native pollinator plants filling a patch with life. The story here is about gardening with care, capturing water, choosing species that thrive locally, and creating habitats for birds and bees even in a small footprint. Each image feels purposeful. A compost bin discreetly hidden, a permeable path that soaks rain, and the small economy of seed saving from year to year. For gardeners who want a front yard that's both beautiful and responsible, these visuals suggest ways to weave sustainability into a rustic aesthetic without sacrificing charm. A small front yard is perfect for seasonal storytelling, subtle shifts that mark the year. In spring, bulbs nod through ground cover. Summer brings abundant herb-scented borders. Fall layers pumpkins and dried grasses. Winter offers structural evergreens and warm lanterns. The slideshow unfolds like a calendar of vignettes, each season offering its own palette and rituals. The stories captured are domestic and cyclical. A child dropping a leaf into a watering can, neighbors exchanging bulbs in early spring, and the ritual of lighting candles on chilly evenings. These seasonal tableaus show how a small front yard can be a stage for year-round beauty, each moment building on the last. Raised beds turn narrow strips into focused rooms of planting. The slideshow features simple, reclaimed wood boxes, petite terraces that step down a slope, and clever corner beds that make the most of a tight frontage. The story is hands-on and encouraging. The first cut of a board, the satisfaction of filling a box with rich soil, and the way compact beds create manageable, high-impact planting areas. Visuals show how scale matters. Short beds that won't block windows, narrow profiles that leave a walkway, and mixed plantings that offer texture and bloom. For anyone who loves building things with immediate garden returns, these scenes are an invitation to roll up sleeves and create structure with heart. Even the smallest front yard can host a moment of pause. These slides capture little nooks where a single bench sits tucked behind a bloom, or a swing hangs from a stout branch. The narrative leans into micro moments. Sipping coffee at dawn, watching a rain shower from under a small awning, or reading as the world passes by. Seating is practical and humble. An old wooden bench, a refurbished chair, cushions in muted fabrics, and always sited to take advantage of light and privacy. These images suggest that hospitality and retreat can coexist in a tiny space, and that a single well-placed seat can turn a front yard into a place you return to. Native plants bring a sense of place that feels authentic and resilient. In these visuals, local wildflowers mingle with hardy grasses, creating a palette that deepens through seasons. The storylines are local. A plant that draws monarchs, a grass that keeps its seed heads through winter, a meadowy drift where once there was turf. These choices read as ecological and poetic, reducing upkeep while supporting local wildlife. The slideshow focuses on combinations that look intentionally rustic: seed heads, textured foliage, and a color story that blends with the regional light. For gardeners seeking a timeless front yard with ecological depth, these images offer a template rooted in place. Borders and hedges in small yards can be gentle guides rather than rigid barriers. Think low-clipped hedges that frame a walkway, scrambling vines softening a boundary, and informal shrub layers that create depth. The slides show edges that feel like a welcome rather than a wall. Feathered perennials and irregular stone edges that blur lines between garden and path. The narrative evokes the human scale. Hands trimming a soft edge, children ducking under a low arch of rows, and the way a border can both define space and invite exploration. These visuals are ideal for anyone who wants structure with softness in a compact front yard composition. Sometimes you need a quick lift that still reads timeless. This slideshow gathers fast impact ideas. Group containers by the door, a fresh paint color on a mailbox, and a tidy, fragrant walk lined with rosemary. The stories are immediate. Neighbors noticing a new lamp, the homeowner passing with a pleased smile, visitors pausing to admire a simple entryway refresh. The focus is on small moves with big impression. Good contrast, layered textures, and thoughtful placement that looks intentional. If you want to increase curb appeal without an overhaul, these images show how a few deliberate choices can make a small rustic front yard feel welcoming and memorable. And with that, our journey through creating a stunning rustic garden comes to an end. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos on how to transform your living space into a blissful retreat. Who knows, your garden might even turn into your favorite escape spot.